Tumi.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited, Isis. I have been looking forward to this interview the longest time.
Yes.
You're actually the first female pilot.
Oh, wow.
I know and I've met.
Oh, wow.
So it's such an honor. I'm so delighted.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Now, I'd like us to start from way back. You know, how did you always wanted to become a pilot?
Yes, I did actually, from the age of 13. So in the past, I was a tomboy. I used to play Need for Speed, Tomb Raider, and was Flight Simulator. So during school holidays, I had nowhere to be. So that's all I did. I played Flight Simulator. So thereafter, when I was in grade 9, it was time to select subjects. And I didn't know what subjects to take. So thereafter, on SABC News, they mentioned that there's a shortage of female pilots in the industry. And I was like, hey, I've been playing Flight Simulator for quite some time. Why not just do it? Become a pilot. Let me bridge that gap.
Well, I must tell you, I'm very scared of heights. And I've always wondered, you know, that clearly there's no future for me there. You know, anything that has to do with heights and mountains, it's just not for me. And I know that the view from you know, from an airplane looking out the window is absolutely spectacular. That's why we all want window seats.
I always want a window seat. Even when I'm traveling with my husband, I'm just like, no, I'm still taking the window seat.
I want to know, what is it like to be on that seat and you're flying and you see the whole, like, view from your seat?
I literally, there's times where I'm sitting, because there's a long period where you, after takeoff, you take off and then you land the aircraft. There's times where you hand fly the aircraft, but there's times where you just switch on the autopilot. So when you switch on the autopilot, that's when you get time to read a book or whatever. And there's times I just look out the book. Yes. You get time to read a book, you get time to be on your iPad, whatever you get time to do. So I take a moment and I look outside, I look how high I am. So my aircraft flies to 30,000 feet. That's where it's certified to fly.
And how long have you been flying it?
I've been flying it for 3 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. You must love it.
I love it. She's a beauty of an aircraft. She's the best turboprop aircraft, from my opinion, single turboprop aircraft. And I love flying her. Every time, like I say, when I take off, it's the best feeling. I know people don't like that sinking feeling, but for me, it's the best. And landing, because landing is such a challenging thing to do. So when I land, it makes me feel like, you know what, I've done something great, because I've brought people back safely to their destination.
I mean, I remember on a couple of flights, well, it hasn't happened in a long time, where especially with long flights, like when we land, like the whole flight would start clapping for the pilot.
And until they do a bad landing. And the problem is that they need to understand that there's smooth landings, which are good. It's a show-off landing. But an actual proper good landing is a hard landing, because the aircraft needs to sit on the ground, because the wings are made to fly. So you need to get it on the ground. So it'd be nice for people to clap also when you get a hard landing, but people are scared of it. Like, Then there's turbulent flights where it gets complicated. Then you need to understand that the pilot is doing his best, because there's crosswind, the aircraft is doing what it needs to do to be on the ground. So
oh my God, you know, you've just taught me something, because whenever we get a smooth landing and people start clapping, I was like, how smooth was that? You know?
There was no wind that day, so it was perfect conditions.
It's actually very interesting to know. I didn't know that. Wow. So tell me, what training did you have to go through in order to become a pilot and be where you are?
But I would like to actually first take it back to how I actually got there. So after high school, obviously, my parents didn't have money to actually sponsor me to fly. So I actually took a unexpected gap year after high school, a full year. I ended up working at telecommunications. So I was calling people to sell a contract.
Oh God, okay.
Because I didn't have anything to do. So after that year, thereafter, my mom was like, okay, in 2012, February, my mom was like, okay, let me pay for you for your first flight. And I took my first flight, and there was the most amazing flight. It was before sunset, because when you start flying, you're not allowed to fly at night. You're not licensed to, so it was just before sunset at summertime, and it started drizzling, and it was so beautiful. So thereafter, my mom was like, then I flight for a few hours, and then my mom was like, no, I'm sorry, I do not have funds to help you carry on. So
it is quite expensive.
It is expensive. It is an expensive career to follow. And then I was like, you know what, instead of going back home and sitting, because I was sitting for a year at home, I was like, no, let me go to the school and ask them to go work as a secretary. Then I stayed at the school, and I worked as a secretary, helping people fill out the forms and register to go fly. And thereafter, one day, no flights, nobody's coming in. I was on Facebook, and there was an advert that said opportunity of a lifetime. And I was like, okay. I clicked, and they said, send your CV. I sent my CV, and I went through 3 interviews. And after the interviews, I was the selected candidate to be sponsored for my full airline transport pilot license.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So it's my commercial pilot license and my subjects, but I just need to get my hours to obtain my airline transport pilot license.
I have to tell you, that impresses me so much, because a lot of times when people are dreaming of a certain career or something, be it a business or being, I don't know, part of a certain organization, they need to understand that opportunities come to those who actually go out there and look for them, you know, and that you have to start somewhere. I mean, you went off and worked as a secretary, and these opportunities came when you were watching on Facebook.
That's what I tell a lot of my, the people that DM me, and a lot of people come to me and they ask me, how do I become a pilot? I'm like, I spent a full year Googling. Google was my best friend.
Yes.
So even if you are on Facebook, even if you're on Instagram, if you're on LinkedIn, continue searching, never stop searching for opportunities, because one day God is going to be like, okay, here's an opportunity for you to apply, and apply and go out for it. And actually before then, during that gap year, I tried to apply for the Air Force. So I went through the process of going through the Air Force, the training. I went for a week boot camp. There were 3, we were separated, at the end we were separated into 3 groups, and I was in the middle group where you're good, but you're not the selected, you're only selecting 7. So that showed me that, you know what, go for it. Even if you get a no, it's fine. Regroup, rethink, re-strategize, and come back. And there I got my sponsorship.
Yeah. I have to tell you, there's something I really admire about, obviously you're younger than me, a lot younger than me, you know, you make me so old right now. But I like the fact that you guys use everything that's available to you in terms of information. I've told the story so many times, and that's probably because, you know, the girl impressed me so much. There's a young girl I've befriended, you know, she's like a little sister just like you. I met her in Milan during Fashion Week, you know, and she's from Pretoria, which is where I come from. And I remember looking at her and saying, what are you doing here? Like, because she was so tiny and she's thin and she's tall and she's really gorgeous. And she says, I'm here for Fashion Week. And I asked her, how did you, you know, become a model? And she says to me, and I was so impressed by her story. She said to me that she's always wanted to become a high fashion model. You know, she's been a model at home, she's done Joburg, she's done Cape Town. She was tired. And I said, so, and what did you do? She said, I Googled. You know? She Googled, called the agencies in Milan. They said, okay, they wanted to see her. She got into a flight, and now she's an international model.
Look at that.
You know? So that for me is such a powerful tool that I so wish young people could actually use, not just to be on social media and take pictures, and that you can actually use that tool to make a real success out of your life. So I like that, that, you know, you can also use social media, use the internet to actually move yourself forward.
Exactly.
So yeah,
thank you. You have to use those resources. I mean, like, it's given to you. Don't sit on them. Don't think that, okay, how many hours do we spend on social media a day? You know, there's opportunities there. You just need to dig them out.
Yeah, at least make it productive, you know, towards your dream.
Exactly. So maybe say 2 hours I'm going to search just for jobs, and then the other rest of the time I can do whatever I want to do. You need to be disciplined. When you want a dream to be successful, you need to have discipline.
Absolutely. And it takes a lot.
It does. It does. A lot of strength. I think aviation is a very emotionally taxing career. So anybody that does want to go into it, I always say be prepared, because it's going to take time to find funding is number one. Not a lot of companies are funding aviation, so it's difficult to approach someone and say, please fund me, because it is expensive. So you need to be emotionally ready for that. And there's other challenges in aviation. There's people that will tell you that you can't fly. No, sorry, you're too short. No, you're too tiny. You get little subtle comments from people that tell you that you can't, but you just need to just block out those comments and say, you know what, I know my goal. Like this lady that you're talking about. And here she is, she's in Milan.
I find it so inspirational, and I really hope what a lot of people get after this month, that anything is possible if you put your mind to it, and nothing is easy.
No. Nothing is easy. People need to stop that mentality. Especially I see it with I know I'm young, but the younger generation behind me, the generation behind me, they want everything to be given to them, and you need to understand that you have to work hard, because at the end of the day, there's a sense of accomplishment when you finally strive for what you want. The other backstory is that once I finished my training, I was actually supposed to explain that, is that so once I got sponsored by the company, I went for training, and it took me 15 months. The reason why it took me 15 months is because I was determined. I had a goal. I was like, okay, I'm here. I've got the money. Well, it doesn't really matter how long it takes you. It's just a matter of would you finish?
Yes.
So the challenges in aviation is money and hours, flight hours. So it's a matter of, okay, I've got the funds. So finish your exams. Finish the training that you need to do. We ended up going to another airfield so that I can finish my flight training so that I can test. Or else I would have sat and, because sometimes the aircraft is in maintenance and you can't fly for that particular day. So you need to find a way. Instead of writing exams in Port Alfred, because that's where I went for training, I went to Port Alfred. Instead of writing exams in Port Alfred, I took a bus, Greyhound, and I traveled back to Johannesburg to write my exams. I'm like, I'm here to write my exams and finish. Then go back, then I finished, and I tested, and then I graduated with my commercial pilot's license. So even with obstacles in the way, you need to maneuver around them and say, okay, I see you, what's plan B? Move to plan B.
But I wanted to find out about your qualifications, you know, your credentials, you know, where are you?
I currently have my commercial pilot's license, but I currently have over 1,500 hours, which actually qualifies me for my airline transport pilot license, but I do not have enough night time. So I'm still gaining up my night time. As soon as I get my night time, I will get my airline transport pilot license. So there's different hours. So you've got your private pilot license, which is your first license, then you've got your commercial, then you've got your airline transport pilot license. So it's just a matter of how many hours do you have, and do you have night time, do you have twin time, so are you flying a twin engine, are you flying a single engine, do you have PIC, which is the pilot in command, or are you flying as a co-pilot? You know, there's a lot of variants and a lot of things that can that you need to get certain hours. So I'm almost close to getting my airline transport pilot license.
That sounds very exciting. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And tell me, where is your favorite destination?
Ooh, favorite destination to fly to. Well, my favorite destination hopefully one day will be Bora Bora, so that I can skydive at Bora Bora. But my favorite destination to fly to, well, the recent ones that I've been flying to Cape Town. I've been flying around South Africa. I've flown to Tanzania, which was absolutely beautiful. So Zambia, Africa is beautiful. Different from South Africa. It humbles you as a person that, wow, South Africa has done good for itself, but it's good to travel because you get to see and just open your mind and be broad about what other countries are going through.
Yes, you know what I always say, especially to young people, that before you get yourself in debt and buying a car, and get yourself a passport.
Best advice.
Visit 1 or 2 countries, then make decisions that will impact your life.
Correct.
I know that it's not everyone that's able to do that. Some of us did it a little bit later in life, but it changes the way that you see the world and your opportunity. You actually start seeing yourself as a part of the whole world.
Exactly.
And not just a person that comes from a particular place.
Correct. You don't see only your situation, but you see everybody working as one. That's where you see the whole thing of working as one as in the world. No, I'm so excited, and I want to find out, what are your future plans? What would you like to see for yourself in the industry? Definitely having my airline transport pilot license, because that will open opportunities to get flying bigger aircrafts. Definitely flying bigger aircraft such as the Boeing. Boeing is my favorite aircraft. Or privately, which is the Bombardier aircraft, which I love. So
which you're flying right now?
I'm flying the Pilatus.
The Pilatus, yes.
Not the Bombardier.
Not yet, of course.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Hopefully soon. That's my dream. And obviously bridging the gap. I've seen there's a gap in aviation. There's people that are still studying, and there's people that don't know aviation, but we're educating them. But even though we're educating them, there's still a gap in aviation because there's people that don't have the hours. People don't have funding. So I want to help those that need funding, that are currently stuck. So I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to help those who are currently stuck, who just need just a little bit of help to move forward in the aviation industry.
Would you say that's the biggest hurdle?
It is. There's hurdles. The biggest hurdle in aviation is finances and hours. The moment you get your hours, you can go anywhere. But the other hurdle is because of the type of license that you have. In South Africa, it's a ICAO license, and then internationally in Europe,
what is that?
What,
I'm not going to act like I know, so please educate us.
Basically, it's the organization that governs the license. So we've got ICAO under ICAO, and then there's the EASA license, and in America is the FAA license. So I can't go to America and fly with my ICAO license. I have to convert to the FAA license. And then if I can't fly in Europe because I have to convert to the EASA license. So then there's hurdles because it's not easy for me to get a job there, because I first have to go through those exams again, those 14 exams. I have to go through the testing exams. Medically, you have to be okay, so you have to go through your medical. So with an ICAO license, I can only find a job that wants me to have an ICAO license, unless that company pays for you to get your FAA, to transition to an FAA license. So there's a lot of gaps in aviation, and hopefully finding a way to close a little bit those gaps to make opportunities for South Africans, I think would be great and a good accomplishment.
But I must tell you, there is something that is comforting about everything that you guys have to go through, because it sort of gives us some level of comfort that we're in safe hands.
Yes, you are. You are in safe hands.
Yeah,
indeed.
So we kind of confident that they went through a lot.
Yes,
you know?
it's a big hurdle.
You're this young, beautiful woman is just recently married and you're flying all over. How do you balance that? And I like asking this question because a lot of people feel guilty if they put their careers first. They think, okay, I've got my family. So how do you find, the time to, to balance?
Well, like my husband and I, we were together for 9 years and now married for 10 months. So he's been with me through the challenges. He's seen the challenges of how to be a pilot, what it is to be a career woman. So I'm happy that he understands it, and it's not a matter of, oh, I just met you yesterday and, oh, no, sorry, your career is not important. This is what I want you to do. I want you to be a housewife. So he understands it, and when I travel, so he knows that sometimes I'm away for a week. There's times I'm away for like a week and a half. It's a very long time. So now being married is a big transition, because now you're living together. And now it's a matter of, okay, are you okay? You still communicate with each other through WhatsApp. There's technology now. So you don't feel like you're far apart from each other as in the past. So we try and balance it in the sense of we're adventurous. So we like going out, and we're also part-time content creators. So we have a YouTube channel.
Wonderful.
Regomoditswe.
Oh, wonderful.
And
we'll put it down on the description
on the description below. Thank you. So what we do with that channel, what helps us with that channel is that we reconnect. That's where we reconnect. That's where we have fun, because it's an opportunity for us to go out. Because we're adventurous. We're like, okay, let's go bungee jump. Let's go and be on quad bikes. Let's go do something. And that's what reconnects our relationship, because there's a bond there. So it's not really bad when we're far apart from each other, because then when we come back together, it's amazing.
No, that's lovely. Now, what would you say to young women who are watching this interview, who want to be in your industry, they dream of being pilots, and they don't know where to start? I know you get a lot of them DMing you.
Yes.
I know I talk about Google a lot because it sounds simple, but it is effective.
It is.
So for somebody that's watching this and saying, it is my dream to become a pilot, and I specifically chose you as a young person, to do this interview because I wanted young women out there to also, because I've been speaking to a lot of older women who are my age.
But amazing. Full of wisdom.
So I really wanted them to hear from somebody who's really young and who's really reached their goals. I know that you've got so much more that you want for yourself, but somebody that's watching you and saying, one day I want to be like her. What would you advise? What would your advice be to them?
Okay, my advice would be basically go after your dreams. Don't try and let everybody do things for you. You do it. Stand up, stand your ground. Know who you are as a person. Know your challenges. In aviation, there's 4 forces that acts on an aircraft. It's lift, which is upwards, weight, thrust forward, and then drag at the back. So for me, how I translate it to real life scenario is like, lift is for me is God. I pray. I'm a woman of prayer. I believe in God, and I say, Lord, you direct me, your will be done. So that's my lift. My thrust is who I am. I know where I want to be. What's propelling me forward? I need to basically look at my goals and say, okay, write them down. Because sometimes in the past, I never used to write things down. Now I realize the power of writing things down, because then you're speaking it into existence. So you need to write your goals down, head for your goals, and do it. Because with God, with your lift, then with thrust, there's flight. Okay?
I love that.
Then there's weight. Weight is basically the things that are weighing you down in life, whether it be people or whatever it may be. It's dragging you down. You can't really help what it is because it's gravity.
And they'll always be there.
They'll always be there. Gravity is something that is normal. It happens. It's real life. It's science. Things that weigh you down. You can't really do much about it, but you need to just pray about it because then opposites. Then you've got drag. So drag are things that you can't resist, such as your hours. You want to go that direction, but your hours are pushing you back because you can't get your next goal. So basically, I know there's hours. I still need 100 hours. I need my nighttime hours to get my ATP, but I'm going to get my ATP no matter what. I know my hours are dragging me back, but I'm going to get
But you're going forward.
So figure out what your plan is. And I've got a very interesting quote that I love. It says, aerodynamically, a bumblebee is not supposed to fly, right? Because of its weight. But it goes on flying anyway because it doesn't know that.
Oh, wow.
So even if you've got all these other things that are weighing you down or whatever, that you say, no, you're too short. Don't tell yourself you're too short. You're speaking into existence. No, I can do it. I'm tall enough because in the aircraft, if you're short, you can now lift up the seat. Like a car, you can lift up the seat. There are certain cars that you can lift up the seat. And then you can push the aircraft back. Yes, your feet are short, but you can push the seat forward. And then if you can't see, because some people are like, no, I heard that in the past, you can't be a pilot because you can't wear glasses. No. Think about the information. Research the information now. What are the new laws now that are governing aviation? You can wear glasses now. You can become a pilot. You know, finances, don't let finances pull you back. No. It's research, even if it takes you time. I have written sponsorships to so many people, and I've had so many no's. But I sulk and I'm like, okay, I'm sad right now. It's fine. I need to grieve. People need to grieve. If you've heard a no before, you need to accept that no.
Go through it.
Go through the emotions. Once you're done with the emotions, get up again. Be like, okay, plan B. So don't only depend on one company to sponsor you. Have 10 companies that say, okay, I'm going to try you, I'm going to try you. Because last year I applied to so many companies. And at the end of the day, you are so drained because you heard so many no's. And, and I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Yes, I like what you just said because I know exactly what that feels like. You know, when you run your own business, you're forever working on proposals.
Exactly.
And they're forever being rejected. But because of you're consistent and you're persistent.
Correct.
And you know what you want, somebody out there will hear you.
Someone that God has given to hear you will be
But
there.
then you have to be ready.
You have to be. You have to be. And again, don't look at your past. I think it's very important for us to stop looking at our past because that's what also weighs us down. You know, look into the future, look at your goals, what you want to do, where you want to be, you know, have that 5-year plan. You know, in interviews when they ask you, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? Have that before you interview so that you are prepared. Don't have it only because the interview is going to ask you about it.
That.
Exactly. Have it before then so that you know that, you know what, this is my goal. Okay, it's 2020. Everybody had plans for 2020. It's fine. They're delayed. They never stopped. Keep looking forward.
That's so true. I'll tell you what my wish is from here. Is to be on a flight with you, be the captain. And when we land, I'm like, I know her.
I know her.
You know, that is my wish. And I'm so excited for you, and I'm very happy for you. I can see how passionate you are. I love passionate people because I do things that I love, that I'm really passionate about. I live my life passionately in everything that I do. So when I see people who do what they love, who are passionate about it, and I can hear it, and when you speak about it, it makes me really happy. You know, it makes me feel like the world is better when we're happy, when we're doing things that we love.
Exactly.
So I wish you the absolute best in all your future goals. But before we go, I really, really want to find out from you. I know that there are a lot of women who are in aviation now, and I know that there are challenges in every industry.
Correct.
When you look at the industry as a whole, and you see all these women that are coming up, what is your wish for them? Or for the industry as a whole?
I wish the industry, right now the industry is not doing good because of the pandemic. But however, my wish for the industry is that it just continues to grow. I think in aviation as well is to be able to open our eyes also to the amount of Black female pilots there are in the industry, also Black male pilots in the industry. I mean, after a flight, I get a lot of questions. Oh my gosh, you fly! People take pictures of you, and for me, I find it as a bit of a hard moment of, yes, I'm happy that you're taking a picture of me, but also not happy because it's like, but you don't know that there are female pilots in the industry. So I hope that more female pilots are being seen.
Yes.
You know, there's more awareness around it.
It becomes a norm.
It becomes a norm that, you know what, there are female pilots in the industry, there are black female pilots in the industry, and that we are doing good. You know, don't think of it as an impossible hurdle. You know, that here we are. So I hope that the industry will grow, it will recover from what's happening right now in the world, and that we'll find and we find opportunities not only in South Africa but in around the world.
No, it has been such a pleasure talking to you, and I am excited and wishing you the absolute best. No, thank you very much. It's been absolutely lovely.
Thank you, Tumi.
Thank you.